Hey, good evening, folks, and welcome into the David Paisano Show. How's things going today? I've got my Tinkertown Museum shirt on right now. This is a little museum that's in Sandia Crest. Tinkertown Museum. Yeah, I stopped there on the way to see Forrest Fenn. It is a fun little stop. Some interesting things at the Tinkertown Museum. So Sandia Crest is kind of over there by Albuquerque and might be close to Bernalillo. Oh, that was a fun day. Fun day that I had that day. Yeah, Forrest. I just was in Albuquerque and Bernalillo and Sandia Crest looking for your treasure, Forrest. Yeah, those people have all moved out of that area. One of them moved south. A couple of them moved to South Carolina or North Carolina. Yeah, little ruffled feathers we had. we had we had a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs that day. Oh, I've had so much fun. I've had so much fun with Forrest Fenn. When will it end? When will all this fun end? I guess when we get answers. Fun answers. Oh, well, there's Jeff popping in. Hey, Jeff, are you going to Benboree? The 22nd and 23rd of August. A chance to win a treasure chest filled with goodies or a chance to watch one of the in crowd solve Ben's poem and go away with the chest that they already knew where it was at. So, how this is basically going to go down is that they'll arrive and hide the chest probably on Wednesday. Then they'll go out and have drinks with the in group on Thursday, and by then somebody will already know where this thing is hidden, and they'll just go walk up and get it, and maybe it'll last 3 minutes, which is longer than Justin Posey's treasure hunt, by the way, which lasted like 2 minutes. So anyway, I don't know if I really want to drive, 8 hours each direction to go to a predetermined winter treasure hunt or not. But anyway, I probably will, especially if there's some people I know that are going to be there. Because what I want to do, and I will ask people that are going to Benboree that might watch this show, is I want to do a cryptid video because apparently Chad had only one submission for a $1,500 prize that only requires you to do a 15-minute video. And I think I could do a better 15-minute video than probably anything else he's gotten. But I need some help because I need somebody to answer some questions about the cryptid. And the cryptid I'm going to be looking for, the character that's rarely been seen, the individual that's harder to get a hold of than a jackalope, and someone who has not poked their nose into the Fenn chase for a long time is Shiloh. And Shiloh is my cryptid. And I'm hoping to have a cryptid spotting sometime in the Pecos Wilderness around August 22nd or 23rd. I'm thinking it's probably going to be on the 23rd, like after everybody's left except Ben and Ashley and maybe a few people. And I might be able to stay around a little bit longer to get the cryptid sighting that I'm looking for. And I'm going to put this into a 15-minute video where we are looking for elusive creatures, ones that rarely say anything or pop their heads out. And I may or may not get a photograph. I may or may not get an image. I may or may not get a footprint. But I am going to be cryptid hunting for a Shiloh on the 22nd and 23rd. And I'll put this together in a video and I'll send it to Chad Bird. And maybe Chad Bird will put it in the contest. But I have to find some witnesses. And I have to go through a list of questions. in order to have an official entry. So I will need a few people to help me with this project. I hope to do this on Friday, the 22nd, or the 23rd. It depends on when that treasure gets sold. Well, there's Lowly Bell. Good to see you, Lou Lee. Well, I don't know how many people are going to be in here tonight, but I thought that I would just show you kind of how this goes on. So let's do a little share screen here, and let's go over to the movie quest. Echoes of the Key. Okay, we're now sharing Echoes of the Key. Okay, so Echoes of the Key is another one of Chad Bird's treasure quest projects. It's one of it's the movie quest. And here we had 4 people submit videos for trying to win a prize based upon a movie. And you're supposed to watch all 5 of these. And the first one is called The Little Treasure Hunter. And this one was submitted by the Treasure Pack. The next one is called The Kid Napping. And this one is a film by Smith Von Taylor. And the next one is It's All I Think About. And this one was put together by Catherine Dudley Blair, who was probably a teacher that Capro hired. And then the last one is Unknown Race for Answers, which has a couple of creeds in it. So it's probably submitted from the Websters, but it's probably a Capro production. But anyway, if you want to vote on this, and whoever gets the most votes is going to win probably $1,500. But you can vote on this in the Treasure Quest Big Brains, and you have to vote by August 15th for your vote to count. So you're supposed to watch the movie and vote for the one that you think is the best video. Now, these movies are supposed to be a treasure hunting journal, if you will, or a treasure hunt that you create and solve within the program. And the Little Treasure Hunter, this lady follows her granddaughter around, and they do an imaginary treasure hunt. The kidnapping is a treasure hunter is napping a stone. Haha. Napping is where you flake off an arrowhead, and the kid gets kidnapped, and then his father and his other brother tries to solve a treasure hunt to find him. It's kind of like the Codex, if you will, but a miniature version of that. And then the next one is All I Think About is this college professor who has some scenes with some of her students, and she's obsessed with mining treasure instead of concentrating on her job as a college professor. Oh, hold on. That's like a biopic. That's a biopic. That's a biopic of somebody we know. Anyway, and then there's the Unknown Race for Answers, where 2 treasure hunters go missing and they're never found. I don't know how this one falls into the genre, but that's a summary of what these movies are. I'll click on one of them. Give you an idea of what these movies are like. But again, you can go to the Chad Bird Treasure Quest Big Brains, and you can watch these films. I thought about doing a show where we watch these films together, and then we critique them. That reminds me of a movie opening that probably are familiar with it. I can't remember the name of the movie. But anyway, these are kind of like film, if you will. There's some great fodder for making fun acting. And anyway, I don't know, for lack of a better, they're just kind of. Is the volume okay on this? Can you hear what I'm
Something weird happened.
So this movie here was kind of reminding me of the Blair Witch Project at this point in time.
I thought the treasure was not real, but she wanted to go look for it anyway. So I don't know.
I mean,
I'm
they
gonna
Blair
stop
Witch.
doing that.
They were Blair Witching the hell out of this.
Packed with all of their camping gear, a metal detector, and a sense of adventure. They asked their parents to borrow the car to go for a camping trip, but before their parents could even answer, they were out the door and off on their great adventure.
So
The treasure, I always was like, for real, bruh. And then she was like, I'm gonna go look for it. And then I was like, nah, I'm not going with you.
well, at least they took a metal detector instead of a bronze sniffing dog. So the music played in this video I thought was kind of interesting.
The only way that I knew them really was just because we're cousins, and I didn't ever really see them. I only really saw them at Christmas at our grandparents' house, but they never came to visit.
Connor and Sarah stopped at a small gas station at the edge of the
Did you know
forest.
that Sarah and
They bought some
Connor?
drinks,
Sarah
some
Connor was
snacks,
the name
hung
of
out
the
for a little
character in the
while,
Terminator movie.
and ate them on the porch. One of the workers there reported seeing them. Little did he know it
The
would be
whole
the last
vibe
time
of
they
this
were ever seen
reminds me
alive.
of the Terminator.
As far as our sources know,
Sarah,
they headed by a gas station on their way out
that's
for some
where Sarah
snacks.
Connor stopped. The gas station.
See these two kids. They come in once in a while. I hadn't seen them very much. They came in, bought some snacks,
Great place for
paid for them. And they went outside, sat down, ate their snacks for a little bit, and I got busy with customers. And after that, I didn't see them anymore until the newspaper.
Did a road trip and they got to the campsite. But when they got there, something weird happened.
Sarah and Connor were very opposite. Sarah loved the outdoors, while Connor would rather sleep in, play video games, and hang out inside. Because they were so different, they didn't exactly know each other very well, which is why they had planned this trip to get to know each other.
Connor was always kind of just a loner at school, and he was really irritating, and everybody kind of called him.
All right. Well, you kind of get what the gist of that movie was. So now I'll give you a little clip of this one.
Wow, I'm impressed. You learned your lesson.
I already slid at the top, and I was like, I don't want to slide all the way down.
Oh man, I thought I was going to have a good video of you coming down on your butt.
No! That was you, Jamie slid, for the record.
Okay, so as you can see from this film, we have this professor, and all this video is going to show us is that all I think about is, as you can see, here she is out.
Not under that rock. Hello. Love hugging trees.
So here we have Calliope music in the background instead of that,
You never know where I'm gonna end up.
mystery kind of
I really don't think
theme
it's in
music.
there, but
Makes for a great video, crawling up under a giant rock, right? Woo! Because why not? You're out here for one day. Here we go. See ya. Looking for treasure. Ooh, another crazy hunting. It's a labyrinth used for meditation and relaxation. It's what we need after a day of searching for treasure and coming up empty.
Professor Blair? Professor Blair? Class is over, but I just wanted you to check this edit over here. I had a few questions.
Okay.
So the actor is lost while looking for buried treasure. Is that right?
Yes, she is. This is her first boots on the ground trip, and she's a hot mess. So we really need to make it look like she doesn't know anything that she's doing.
Okay.
Oh, Pinky, I'm so tired.
I think it's in Florida.
What? The AT doesn't run through Florida.
Cut.
Cool. Cut.
Okay, so you can see that movie. Man, had a calliope playing in the background, and follows this educator around who's a treasure hunter. All she thinks about is treasure hunting. The best part of that film is it did actually have a blooper thing at the end. It did have some production, had a lot of people involved in it, and a whole cast of characters, if you will. Now, let's look at the next movie. The next movie is The Kidnapping. Now, so here we have the next submission called The Kidnapping, a film by Smith Von Taylor. And if anybody can tell me what this kid is doing at the beginning, what is this kid doing right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna make the sickest arrowhead.
What is this kid doing right now? What is this kid doing other than hurting his finger?
Huh, that's a good point.
The kid is snapping. What he's doing is snapping an arrowhead. He's snapping an arrowhead. Exactly.
Hey, kid. You want some candy?
Hey, kid, what's up, kid? All right, cool. The name of the film is Kids. Okay, see if you notice something that's a major blunder in this. Okay, that's the guy. He's got a note on his door.
What's this? It says, we have your kid and hid a treasure. Find the treasure. Find your kid. Smith's been kidnapped. First clue. Before monkey bars existed, monkeys used to drink at home. Go to the place where you hang alone.
Where's that? The park? The park! Because there's monkey bars.
You're right.
Let's go.
We have to get our stuff first.
Okay, I'm just going to make this point right now that I think this film would have been a lot better if the kidnapper's vehicle had not been in the background of the next scene. But chink, there's the kidnapper's vehicle right there. Now, was that not the hardest one to solve? But you have to give them credit for the
Just in
vehicle.
case.
The vehicle that they used to go on the treasure hunt. Oh, by the way, you have to spend oxygen
Locked.
and
And
lock. Okay, who takes a Unimog? Who takes a Unimog out treasure hunting?
I'm all set.
He's got his Unimog out hunting. Okay. Okay, so that's the third film, and I'm not gonna take you through all these films. If you want to watch them all and vote for the one you like the best, then you can. But anyway, that one's called The Kidnapping, and okay, so the last of the films is this one, and there's only 4 submissions for this contest.
The littlest treasure hunter was born on a very cold day in 2019 in Montana. She had all the qualities of a great treasure hunter: love of nature.
So they wrote their own song.
Resilience.
It plays in the video for about the whole entire length of this movie.
The ability to find things. And the joy when she found those things. She was a good traveler. And she loved to study history. She loved exploring. And she was daring. When she wanted to hit Papa with a snowball, she always hit her target.
Or deering.
Being happy and joyful, having a good attitude, is one of the best things you can have when you're a treasure hunter.
So anyway,
I'm Papa Jamie.
I'm Grandma Susie. How would you like to go on a treasure hunt today?
I got treasures before. Kaka, treasure quest.
Oh, look, there's costumes. Let's try some on. What do you think we should do now?
So they follow this little girl to all these different places with all these different clues, and I don't know who that woman is. I don't know who that one was. But anyway, here she is finding the treasure. They're a crew and they're tight. They map in the line, solving puzzles every night. Anyway, that music plays through the whole entire film.
I'm gold and money. I'm rich.
All right. Okay, so I hope I didn't bore you terribly with that. But if you want to get involved in voting for the winner of this treasure quest project, the 4 submissions are now up, and you can vote on which one's your favorite. I think you can also vote on which one's your second favorite, because there might be 2 prizes involved. But anyway, this cryptid thing is kind of the same thing, and it follows the same type of deal. So I'm going to try to put together a cryptid video, kind of like these people did for this quest, uh, looking for Shiloh at Benboree, if you will, coming up here in August 22nd, 23rd in the Pecos Wilderness. And there are certain rules you have to follow for your entry. And if anybody else wants to get involved and do their own, you just have to go to Trezor, and send Chad Bird your movie when it's done. There are kind of some rules you have to follow. But anyway, I thought this was pretty interesting, pretty creative of some people involved in the treasure hunting community. And Zozo said she must be a cousin of Cynthia's. Well, not one of them is. She was in the video. No cops. Yeah, anyway. So I had some fun watching those. Well, in preparation for my cryptid search, I thought I would do a few things that might be helpful. And I don't know if anybody knew that this even existed, but I thought I would share this tab with you. And this is the interactive Bigfoot report map. So here we're looking at the reports of Bigfoot sightings, and this is a real thing. It's there's been 16,705 reports, and you can sort this by historic, public lands, etc. If you want to only look for Bigfoot on certain lands, but I'm concentrating on finding cryptids out in New Mexico. So I thought I'd go down here to Albuquerque and see what we have. And here's one over by Santa Fe. 2 reports by Santa Fe. One of them looks like it's actually in the Pecos Wilderness. And here we had at basically it was a at the elevation of 7241. The distance to the road, and this happened in 2011, we had a Bigfoot sighting at this particular location. And I don't know if it annotates the history or not. But anyway, there's one sighting there. Here's another one in Santa Fe. This one was at the Aztec Spring Creek, and there was 122 feet from the road of 95. And another one was over here near Las Vegas, and this one was in the John Green database, and this one was an elevation of 6440. It was on the Great Plains in the southwestern tablelands. There's 3 sightings up here by Mora, interestingly enough. This one was in the northwestern forested mountains at an elevation of 7425. Again, the Pecos Wilderness is right here, and the Mora is right there. Here's one up by the Picuras Pueblo, and this was in 2006. And so anyway, there is a map that you can go to that does give you some of these sightings. If you're interested in things other than just Bigfoot, there's this database that's available. This is the Map Squatch. This is a map of Bigfoot sightings, Dogman sightings, UFO sightings, haunted places, famous graves, and offbeat attractions. So, since I'm heading out this way, I thought I'd see if I could see what was around Albuquerque. There's 8. There's been 8 more reports at this location. And this is in Tijeras, New Mexico. So let's see if we can drill down some of these. Once again, you gotta focus in on these areas. So let's just see what we can find here in Santa Fe. The Museum of International Folk Art is an offbeat tourist attraction. There's been 9 reports of UFO sightings there at that location. Here's a ghost. The Indian school is supposedly haunted. Here's the old hospital building in downtown. Is supposedly a haunted place. It says on the 4th floor, it was a maternity ward. You can hear sounds of baby cryings. There's also reports of a child running through the halls as well. So anyway, some of these reports are fairly detailed. They give you some pretty accurate descriptions, but I'm interested in the Pecos. So here's 6 UFO sightings. So when we go looking at the East Pecos over here, we want to be cognizant of the fact that there could have been a UFO. So here's in 2012, there's a 10-second sighting. It was a non-moving silver spear. And then on 2010, there was lights on May 26th. The night was clear. The light appeared for about 3 minutes. And it was in a formation. There was a disc that lasted 10 minutes in 2006. Here's another large craft. Here's one that lasted 30 seconds. It was too fluorescent. Here's an 8-second disc. My immediate impression was that this object was at very high altitude and moving very fast. As I watched it cross the arc of about 100 degrees in the sky in 5 seconds. Then I saw another object coming in and converging course at about 30 degrees angle from behind. I then checked my windshield and decided that I'd hit a couple of bugs. But after I wiped off my windshield, the objects were still there. So I decided it wasn't just a reflection off my windshield. Okay, it doesn't really say that, but anyway. So anyway, there's another resource for you. Okay. Well, anyway, like I said, it's UFO season, it's Sasquatch season, it's cryptid season. I'm just moving on to trying to find things that are real and not the Forrest Fenn treasure. A few years ago, a Bigfoot was sighted in the Sandies, never confirmed. Lou Lee wants to know sweet peas here and going to Benboree. So anyway, let's see if we can do a top 5. Got to go back up here. Jeff was number 1, Lou Lee number 2, Zozo number 3, Sparkplug number 4, Trusted Living and Sweet Pea 5 and 6. Well, pretty good crowd of folks here tonight. Hope everybody had a good week. Haven't been on for a while. Been out working the ground. Finally got the harvest over with. Had a little bit of rain. Gonna get hot next week. And there's Sophia Champion. Good to see you. MJ's here. It's thundering. Oh, Zozo's number 3. Well, you could be number 2 if you try just a little bit harder. Well, what's going on? I mean, is anybody going to Benboree? I'm going to try to get out to Benboree. I'd really like to win that chest, but, there was a little slip up tonight in the program put on by the Treasure Warriors, and they at one time were both going to text Shiloh and ask him a question, but then neither one of them would actually hit the send button on their phone. So I'm starting to wonder if there hasn't been a little bit of a cooling of feelings there between the fun and answers. There's apparently been no new texts from Shiloh in quite a while to any of those people. And, just like K-Pro ran her course, And before that, I think it was Toby and Shelley kind of ran their course, and then Dal had ran his course. I'm kind of wondering if maybe they ran their course. I don't know. I like Ben. I like Ashley. I think they're good people. I just don't know if they're going to deliver anything that they've been promising for a couple of years. And I mean, I'll gladly say, praise them for putting on, a Fenboree and at least trying to stay engaged with the community and hosting a Discord and a place where people can get together and communicate about the Forrest Fenn aftermath 6 years after this Jack Stoop announcement. But, at some point, I mean, I'm getting to the point where I'm just terribly getting burnt out on this whole idea. It used to be, oh, it's the legal battles that we have to have, figured out. Then just when I was giving up on them, they end up getting a 42-pound of Venetti's replica chest to give away in a treasure hunt. And I get re-enthused that there might be something bigger and better to come up this whole treasure hunt thing. Then last week we hadn't seen anything from Shiloh for a while on the eBay front. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the eBay dump last week of items out of the Shiloh Forest camp, shoes mainly. It was almost like there was a shoe sale at J.C. Penney, and it was all on eBay coming from 1021 Old Santa Fe Trail. And, people are trying to ascribe meaning to the items that Shiloh is putting up for sale. And yeah, I mean, I could subscribe some meaning to all the items that's been put up for sale recently. But if I do, it becomes just a big trolling moment like, oh, you're going to bring that back up. Oh, you're going to bring that back up. I mean, there are a lot of personal and intimate things that happened over the course of the thrill of the chase that I consider privileged and important to me. And I can find some meaning in many of these items that are being put up by Shiloh. And to me, they just dredge up these 6-year-old memories that I had when I was having such a good time, playing tit for tat. But put out a scrapbook about something and maybe I'll write an article about it on my blog or whatever. And, to me, it's like, well, it's like dangling a carrot in front of a horse carrying a buggy. It's kind of like dangling a carrot in front of a horse pulling a buggy. And the horse never gets to eat the carrot. And, you've been riding around this buggy so long, taking various and sundry things out of the buggy and, sending them off to the rightful owners and tracing the route that your buggy took from where it started to where it ended up. And, a lot of this stuff is just dredging up things, like they're digging up bones. There's a song, a country western song, digging up bones. And it's like just, I mean, it kind of picks at me the wrong way. You know, leading to a destination. I mean, it's like leading a horse to water, but not ever giving the horse any water to drink. It's like being on a horse with no name and never naming the horse. I know these are all bad analogies, but I don't know. At some point, you just gotta, I don't know, close your eyes and wonder, what is this all about? I mean, what are these items all about? Are you trying to dredge up bad feelings in people? I don't know. Uh, I had wishes for one or two items, no money, and no hopes anymore about them. The night is full of darkness with slices of lightning. The answers will come in a dark, dark moment. Not something ever predicted, but like most stuff, inevitable. Yeah, there's been so much. There's no hope worse than false hope. And I just unfortunately think that, we've been provided false hope for fun and answers for a long time now. And uh, I'm kind of penciling in this last Benboree, last this 22nd, 23rd get together is my final salvo in the world of Forrest Fenn participation, where I put any more effort than a keyboard stroke into it. And the keyboard, putting more than a keyboard stroke into the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt is disheartening anymore. And I genuinely like a good number of the people that are involved in this YouTube community and the Discord community. And uh, I met some people that were really interesting, especially out at the Arroyo, and met some people that Fenboree that last year that I thought were, good people. And it just shocked the hell out of me that somebody was actually watching my show. It was there, And my last time I went to Benboree, I had an agenda. I wanted to drop a book off for Shiloh. I thought he would be at Benboree the first day. Didn't seem. So the next morning, I went and threw one on the mailbox at 1021 Old Santa Fe. Checked the box. I had an agenda. I wanted to go to see the cenotaph for Forrest Fenn, pay my respects dignified way to Forrest Fenn at his grave market. Checked the box. Went up to the cemetery. Didn't actually find the cenotaph, so wasn't able to actually do this properly. And sit there and look at that, and on the way back, I wanted to pay homage to my place that I'd spent so much time looking for the treasure. Actually, I think I did that on the way. And then I also had my buddy who I rent some land from, whose sister lives in Colorado Springs. And so checked that box, took him out to see his sister. So I had all these boxes that I checked off on my last trip towards New Mexico. Well, this time I really don't have an agenda because nothing's really changed. I haven't written any new books. I haven't came to any new epiphanies or conclusions about this situation. And I'm seeing the same messages that I've seen for the last few years. The same eBay items that get put out from Shiloh leading a horse to water, if you will. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting when you don't have an agenda that you're trying to fulfill, to just, go out and hope you see, somebody like Shiloh and maybe get a question or two answered. It's just, I don't have an agenda of my own to accomplish. The only thing that's drawing me in is this possibility of winning a treasure chest. And after tonight's show, I'm just kind of getting the feeling there's too many teams aligned against me to even be able to win that prize. And so I don't even know if I want to put the time and effort into going. Sophia is not attending Benboree. Don't want anything to do with Ben or Shiloh. After the 2020, it seems the onion soured and rotted before being unraveled. Yeah, exactly. The problem is that it's beginning to become harder and harder to remember any of the good times that were there, because they've been clouded all of this obfuscation that we've seen. And that, it's just obfuscation. And it leaves you wondering whether there really was a treasure, whether you really could find something. In the recent eBay listing, the headlamp was the odd item. What might that item have meant? Well, I've got a pretty good handle on what the shoes were all about. Um, the most appropriate euphemisms for headlamps are deer. You look like a deer in the headlamp. Forrest famously said that if you're going to find the treasure, you need to take a flashlight and a sandwich at one time. But I don't know if a headlamp is can be construed as a flashlight or not. Now, Sophia wants to know, was it broken? Well, it probably was. I mean, there were some earbuds also offered that were issued from the Old Wood Company LLC. Trusted that, yeah, it needed some wires soldered together in order to work. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what one of the pairs of shoes needed to be resold, if you will. I don't know. It's just a conundrum to me. If Forrest intended to protect some solver for some reason, that doesn't seem to be a narrative that plays anymore because it's been so long. I mean, it's been 6 years. Nobody needs a 6 year probationary waiting period for anything. I mean, there's people who've committed murder that's gotten out of jail in less time than it's taken for anything to move forward in the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt past June 6th. Never attended any Benboree and just remember meeting FF at his gallery. Was good and with little distractions. Well, it's nice that you had a chance to meet him during his gallery days. I mean, I'd never even heard the name Forrest Fenn until Janet Shamlian entered my room on an NBC Today Show interview in like 2015. I never even heard the Flim Flam Man. Ooh, I probably should take that back. Anyway, even though his business partner, Rex Aerosmith's wife, Bonnie Cunningham, is from this general area, and Rex is not more than 80 miles away, Belleville. So, I don't know. It lends itself to I don't know, speculation, problems. But I guess what I'm saying is I am starting to even question the relationship between Shiloh and Ben and Ashley at this point in time. Because when they weren't willing to send the send button on their phone to get a response while they were live, and then potentially show us a response, I'm wondering if that's soured. I mean, I saw a video of Shiloh and Ben that was filmed by Nomadic Madman after I left. This shows that there probably was a relationship because Shiloh was asking Ben if he knew who drove a specific vehicle, and it was mine because I was the guy that drove in his driveway that morning. And I think they were trying to figure out who that was. And the fact that Shiloh didn't know who that was and had to ask Ben who he thought that was. I'm questioning that narrative. I mean, I mean, we don't all have an S10 to drive around. I had a black car. You had an S10. Uh, Ask your brother. Maybe he can help you out. But anyway, it's just disappointing. Flim Flam Man is a cousin of Slim Slim Man. Trust the Living says, I didn't pay that close attention. I think it was on the kitchen counter because the dog was visible through the sliding doors. It faces the waterfall miniature of final location. Yeah, I like miniature things. That's why I like the Tinkertown Museum in Sandia Crest. Yeah, the flashlight need to face upstream, so toward the waterfall sounds about right. Yeah, I don't know. I got to come up with another 8 minutes for me to get paid by Chase Inc. Um. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the movie quest. So this cryptid thing is thought I'd share this. So if anybody wants to get involved with me at Benboree in filming a cryptid thing, this is what we have to do. We have to do this. So we need to get a cryptid, and I actually think our cryptid is Shiloh. And then we need to venture into the shadows, gather evidence, interview witnesses, and something lurks in the edge zones. Will you find it? So we need to get evidence gathered within the same defined area, and that's going to be our Pecos Wilderness, the park. And we're in the United States. And then we're going to have to find if the cryptid existed here, this is the kind of place it would use. And we need to document how it gets in and out of the Pecos Wilderness. We need to document where it might be within the Pecos Wilderness, what water and food sources there are in the Pecos Wilderness. Then we need to find the edge zone, and then some of the curves and dense canopy where there's low visibility, and then where there might be traffic or water noise to cover its tracks. We need to then make a wide establishing shot and a team name written on a card with a team name written on a card. Then we need to find a close up of the water or the cover of the underpass, and then we need to find a close up of the route or the edge zone in which the Shiloh might enter this habitat. And then we need to get these bullets of the habitat argument, why we believe that Shiloh the cryptid is going to be in this area. What evidence support this? What can we need to then fill that out. And then we need to find some non-staged field scientist type of analysis where we can find an impression, a disturbance, some markings or scratches, maybe shed material, or maybe some sort of stain that Shiloh might leave to prove he was there. We can then get a context photo with in the environment. We can then maybe get a close up, and then we need to get a scale photo that gives us a picture of him either next to a coin, a key, or something that's measurable. And then we also need to find all of these estimated sizes of what the Shiloh is. And then we need to get an interview. And this is where I really need some help. I need somebody who I can ask on camera these questions. Where exactly did it happen? And I need somebody to put on a disguise, like a redneck disguise, and say something like, "Mans, I tells you what, I was driving my pick-em-up truck down this here road, and I couldn't believe what my eyes was showing me. It was this figure. He was like a 10-foot tall man. Just walked in out of nowhere. He was in the bushes over there, and I didn't know where he was coming from." And then the next question I need to ask is, well, what time of day was it? "Well, sirs, I tell you, it was after my third beer, but before the fourth. So it must have been about like a 7:30 in the morning." How did you first? What did you notice first? "Well, sirs, I tell you, it was his big nose that I saw first. It just stuck out at least 1.5 feet in front of his head, and the fact that he had a beard almost down to his buttocks, and hair. He had a beard down to his belly button, and he had hair down to his buttocks. And I swear to God, this thing was freaking naked." How did it move, or did it sound? "Well, I was telling you that thing moved like a slow, drawn out molasses coming out of a bottle on my shortbread. I couldn't believe how slow it was. I tell you what, my pick-em-up truck was only going about 2 miles an hour, and I was still passing that thing." "How far away was it?" "I tell you, it was a exhaust breath distance from my tailpipe. It was close. It was not far away at all. Uh, uh, would you give this encounter a title?" "I sure as hell would. I'd call it Fun and Answers in the Wood." Okay, then we need to collect all this evidence into a 4 to 10 minute video, and then put our team name on it. We need to document the habitat and the interview, and then the show location for each of the evidence. So anyway, this is what we get ourselves into. This deadline's passed, but it's been extended until September, and it's worth 1,500 USDCs. And I don't know what a DC is. It's a BC. It's an AC. It's an ACDC BC. Play me a record. Big balls on the walls. All right. So anyway, I hope to complete my cryptid quest on August 22nd and 23rd while I'm in Pecos. I'm looking for somebody who will be able to, if you don't want to go on camera talking like a redneck, you can ask me the questions and I'll answer them best as I can. I'll even put in my false teeth. I'll pull in my false teeth and a smile. And I'm pretty sure I'll be your best witness to that. I might even do my no teeth invitation, if y'all know what I mean. Because some of the best cryptids are spotted by the people who have no teeth. Okay, I know. I'm not going to be able to find anybody that's going to be willing to ask me those questions and allow me to answer them in that format. But in case you haven't noticed, most of the good Bigfoot, jackalope spottings are from people who's had lots of beer to drink, who have not so great eyesight, and sometimes get confused when they look at somebody and it's actually their wife and not Bigfoot. Now, having put my foot in my mouth, anyway, wow, I'm overwhelmed with the stuff to find. So sad to see and learn about the fires. All right, folks. Well, you've been a good crowd. You've been a patient crowd. You've been the kind of crowd that I can enjoy. Do an interview with a sling blade. Is that an app that asks you questions? Is that what Sling Blade is? An app that asks you questions? I don't know any of this high tech stuff. I'm just looking for a human who's willing to ask me those questions so I can testify. I'm going to testify right. That's all cryptid. Had a neighbor who did that. His wife passed away, and he was so lonely. Yeah, I tell you what, the biggest epidemic in the United States these days is loneliness. And, I see it in the YouTube community a lot with a few people whose spouses and significant others have passed away, and they're still doing YouTube shows, and their tone, their tenor, their support, the behind the scenes mechanism that was in their part of their life and their household for years is gone now, and they don't. The way in which they approach their involvement in YouTube has changed, and they see themselves as a savior or a martyr or somebody with a cause because they don't have that sounding board that they used to have, or they're longing for that comfort that they used to get from their significant other. Yeah, this epidemic of loneliness, I don't think is going to get much better. We've become a polarized group of people. We don't seek out the companionship. We hide behind the screen. We don't embrace people. We'd rather attack them and get an attack back, and that gives us our sense of worth. I don't know. I don't think I'm much long for this community. I mean, as it has deteriorated with some people, I've tried not to go that route, but it's difficult. Well, Zozo says, "Be safe, thanks. I know loneliness. Spouse is rather on and off dementia, and I talk to the wind. Sad. Trust the Living has been alone here since 2017. I don't get lonely. Well, I'm just saying some people. I'm saying some people have experienced it, but some people have their own way of reaching out to other people and surround themselves with all kinds of interactions. Trust the Living at times does not even see a human for months at a time. Wow. Well, some people are self-actualized in their existence. The Maslow's hierarchy of needs can be fulfilled at a number of, safety and security, companionship. And then there's people that become self-actualized and they don't feel that the necessity needs that most people have are important anymore. Their higher purpose allows them to see less value in relationships and companionship. I myself have maybe one or two people that, are close friends that I've known for since grade school, and I went out with one of them to Olive Garden tonight. And we had our hour of, cussing and discussing and bitching and moaning and, that kind of thing. But other than him and a couple of other people, I mean, the only people I see is my family, for the most part, and my situation is really weird because I used to I used to know all the old farmers around here, and you'd see them out at the feed store, or, at the machinery dealership or wherever. They're all dead. There's like maybe 6 farmers in Saline County my age, my age, because I'm kind of in between the younger generation, which is my nephews, and there's getting to be a large group of people that are between 25 and 30, getting started managing and running the farms. And there's a few people like my brother and I who are in our, 60s, who are still engaged in trying to get them up to speed. But all these other people whose kids whose kids frankly moved off the farm and they had nobody to take over the farm have died. They passed away, and their land's been sold, and outside people came in and bought it. And, so it's a challenge. It really is. Look forward to campfires if they are on YouTube. Trusted as gathering wood for the wet season after the summer to have safe fires. Yep. Trusted Living's going to put some campfires on YouTube again. Well, that'll be fun. Well, anyway, thanks again for joining in tonight. Hope everybody had a good time. Sorry if I bored you with the submissions for the cryptid, well, not the cryptid, but the treasure.com quest. If you're interested in that kind of thing and want to vote on it, and remember, Chad Bird's giving away $1 million in cryptocurrency. So, I mean, his treasure is supposedly still out there. There's a countdown clock to when it's actually going to have real clues to give you the answer. In 5 years from now, somebody will be able to walk to something and have all this. Sophia is thanking for having a chance to see a live stream. But yeah, Friday is kind of the Friday. Been busy, been trying to get things done on the farm, haven't been time. But there's nothing happens. The Forrest Fenn is over. It's done. Waiting for Shiloh to give us fun and answers. I've been waiting. I'll probably go to Benboree, say my goodbyes to everybody that in person that I've met and traded jabs with over the years. But it's like grasping at air. Nobody wants to know the truth. Nobody knows the truth. And if somebody knows the truth, they're not saying anything about it. And so it's just a big hole. The reason I feel so sad about the way this Forrest Fenn thing ended is, and there's this whole thing about false idols and following false idols and how they can lead you astray and all that kind of thing. But there was a period of time where I really thought this man was doing something great. There was a time that I thought this was the best idea I'd seen in a long time. There was a time where I thought that this was going to be just like my local treasure hunts that end. You get the you get all the solution to the clues, and you get fulfilled in knowing how wrong you were, and how you didn't think like somebody else, and how your ideas didn't match theirs, and how there was somebody else that just got lucky and stumbled on it, or maybe actually solved it, had the right answers. And unfortunately, that's not what we got. Okay, so I think this Benboree will probably be the most fun that will ever happen. And Ben says don't expect answers occurring. I think he's lost his cachet. I mean, they got the treasure chest to put a treasure hunt together with, but I don't know. I just get the feeling that there's something going on there that we don't know about. I know the truth, or at least the truth for me. I was boots on the ground, June 6th, to where the invisible X on the map is. Well, I didn't see you in my search area that day. In true solver fashion, I had to get that in. I already wrote a book about this. I left some details out of my book, but I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to the day that they open up the Forrest Fenn Museum in my hometown and hand me the keys and say, "Well, you asked for it. You said that if you ever found the treasure, you'd put it in a museum. So we bought this building, we made it a museum, and here's the fucking keys." And the company that owns the building is some chapter S corporation run by Justin Posey. You're not sure why they bought a building and put the treasure in it, and they're going to hand me the keys? Why? Well, they just thought that'd be funny. Not sure why they did that. Whatever. I still had fun on the chase. I cracked it, but not the way that it was supposed to be solved. Well, not everyone had access to Forrest Fenn's computer. The treasure is in the museum. When FF put it. It's still in that museum, waiting with other artifacts. LOL. Oh, you mean 1021 Old Santa Fe Trail on Museum Hill is actually going to be converted into a museum? Well, the last walkthrough I saw from the real estate company looked like many of the items that were in that house are gone. Oh, what are you going to display? Well, here's a rug. Here's a Vega. And here's the treasure box, along with some shoes. There's nothing. I mean, Forrest Fenn was interviewed by Capro in 2019, and Forrest Fenn said he had nothing left. I actually believe when he said that he actually did not have anything left. I think all of his assets had been moved to trust. I think that everything had been planned out. And when she interviewed him in 2019, I don't think he had a treasure to give away. I don't think he had a house in his name. I think he had a beneficiary right to a house that was in a trust that was going to be managed by somebody other than himself after he died and his wife died. So I don't think he had anything. He was true when he said in 2019, "What do I have? I don't have anything left except the conversation with searchers." Because it was all done, over with. He didn't have anything to give away. Yeah, I think they took a price reduction on that house. Well, it could have sold in the last couple of weeks. I haven't checked the real estate listing. I have a treasure solve with a location in each state. 2 sets of twin locations, all connected. Well, this brings back that question I had the last time I was on, where did Forrest Fenn have a solved location in all of the treasure hunt search states? He could have. Maybe Forrest Fenn just looked through all those emails he got and picked somebody he liked, and decided that this guy's the closest to understanding who I am, and I'm going to reward him with more than just my treasure. I'm going to give him keys to the house. I'm going to give him a Jeep. Pile of money and a chocolate factory. Yeah, the power of delusional thinking is pretty strong. And I'm going to buy the winning Mega Billions ticket tonight too. Well, at least I'm no longer under the power of delusional thinking since June 6th of 2020. Sophia Champion will take the chocolate factory. in true Wonka style. Candy for everybody. You know, the number of little gags I exchanged with Forrest Fenn since 2016 or 17, whatever it was, those 3 years, the number of individual gags. I mean, there was like, it was fun. I mean, I have to admit that they were all fun little gags and stuff. And I felt that there was I don't know, a kinship there. A kin, that's funny. A kinship. A kinship. Yeah, the day I sent him the letter that said, "Look at my family tree. Look at Henry Joseph Sharp's family tree. Do you see this branch over here? You see this branch over here? These two people are on the same tree. That's my kinship." And I asked him one question, not even Chase related. The man who had written 2 books on Sharp. I asked him one question, and the son of a bitch couldn't even answer my one question. And my one question was, "You've written a book on Henry Sharp. Henry Joseph Sharp? You've written this book. My genealogical research shows the following information about a Sharp from Sharp's Chapel, Tennessee. In the front of your book, you trace some lineage of this family to Ohio and then back to New York. Now, here is a story of a mother and a child who became deaf because of a drowning incident. And it's in this family tree. And these are people I know, and this is a story that is verified by many of my ancestors about this child. And Sharp was deaf from childhood because of a drowning incident or near drowning. Is it possible that the history you've written about Sharp in both of your books, about his origins in New York, is it possible that those aren't necessarily true? And that this guy is actually in the Conrad Sharp clan from Orange, Tennessee? Or is it possible you missed a generation between those people in New York and their ancestors that moved to Tennessee? Not, how would any of this have helped me find the treasure? And yet he didn't even send me a reply about this question. And I think that was the day. That was probably the day, or in the weeks following or months following. And the time following that letter, that it was actually a post office letter, not an email. It was actually, here are 2 pages of genealogy profile. Here's what you've written. And it's like, dude, I'm just wanting an answer to a real question that you may have insight into. I think that not getting a response to that was probably the most disappointing thing that I've seen. And I think that was when I didn't get a response from that. It was like, well, I mean, what's the point? You wrote these 2 books. You're an author. I'm not asking you to change your book. I'm just asking you, what do you think? Maybe he couldn't read at that point in time. Maybe his eyesight was bad. Maybe nobody gave him the letter. But I think that was when I realized that here this person says you should assist in making, giving people joy, and that would have given me immense joy to know what his thoughts were on that. Well, anyway, that's my summary for tonight. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Look forward to our conversation again if we should have one. Peace out. Sophia sent a special gift. Never got a received, let alone a thank you. I don't think he ever got it. I'm trying to remember if I sent this to him in like 2019 or 2018 or I'm sure it was after 2017, I think. I don't remember exactly. It could have been as late as 2020. I don't know. But I mean, it's just disappointing. All right. Have a good night.